Good morning. It is Sunday, 8:30, about 2 hours after sunrise, October 12th, 2025, and I am back in San Diego. And this is the post-summer fall cleanup. And this is what we have. Of course, the plum is always plumbing, and it really throws out a lot of summer growth, which should be trimmed out in the summer, but since I'm not here, it just kind of gets wild. We're probably looking at 2 meters or more, 6-7 feet of growth on some of these, and that will have to be trimmed out. But over here we have some surprises, which is no surprise is that it is way overgrown as usual. You can see the grapes and some of the Madagascar, I believe could be jasmine, is really getting big again. And of course the night blooming jasmine, late summer, early fall, there's quite a bit of flowers, which is nice. The big surprise, yesterday I touched one and it fell off, as you can see here, but check these out. This is the Kiefer pear, ultra dwarf. Look at the size of these things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the 1, 7. This is the biggest harvest I've had since I've had this tree. It's been a few years, and you can see the size. Not big by any means. I call that a 20-gallon pot. A little bit bigger than a 15, just a little bit wider, but same depth. And this thing seems to be really happy. Good growth. They don't get hit by any disease or pests. And I've kept it at a really nice level. You can see this one didn't make it, but I'll take that 7. Big one. Oh, 8. How's that? The from seed avocado. I did some grafting with some Mexicola Grande and some Hass. And it looks like down there, none of the grafts took. So I had 1, 2, 3. Whoop. There's 1, 2, and 3. They didn't take. So all this is the host plant growth, which will make good grafting material. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit quicker. I have a lot of work to do. Man, I can't even walk through here again. So what I'm going to do this year is get rid of these castor bean plants. They're nice when I'm here, and I can use them as chop and drop, but they're very invasive. They seed young and prolific. They really put out seed. So I need to get rid of them. And there's a, back in there behind the kitchen wall, there's 2 that are putting out all the seed. And you can see they're everywhere. So I'm going to eradicate them as much as possible. It'll probably take a season or 2. Another nice surprise, if I can get through. This is lamb hoss. It's looking nice. And check that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did take all the flowers off this year, or not all, but most, and left a few. And last time I was here, I did have some little guys. I thinned those out to, I believe, 4 or 6. So it looks like a couple dropped. And these will be ready next year, probably next spring, summer, and should double in size. This will help keep the plant a little bit more compact. It's still young to produce, but only a 4 on here. It's not going to be a big issue. And it's looking very nice. So I'm going to pop my way through here. Yeah, these things are all over the place. What a mess. A lot of oranges and clusters. Down in here, they're just everywhere. It looks like there's a lot of 3s and 1 singles, 4s. Quite a few. Man, this is a jungle. Coming around here, here is the surprise. So the surprise is growing really nice, actually. There's a lot more growth coming out this way, a little more on the top. I did pinch off a lot, and You can see, I can see up there where I pinched. A lot of pinching in here. This still has not even flowered, let alone fruit. But we'll see what it does this spring. I'm going to have to trim this back quite a bit because it's going to... This was a little bit close here. Having an orange and a avocado so close. Looking like maybe 7 foot, barely 8 foot in between. So I'm going to have to keep this separate from each other. But it looks nice. Yeah, that's always a lot of work. There's so many to cut on this. Flowered out. Whoa, look at that. That is a fig that fell over. This is an avocado that fell over from seed. Yeah, and this is that dwarf kefir. So as you can see, not too big. Good pot size. That may go in the ground if I have time. I'd like to put it in the ground. Yeah. These smelled very nice at night. And during the day they close up, but you can still have a little bit of a sense of what they smell. Oh wow, that's tough to get through. Rosemary, has the bees working it, and a good amount of flowers, which is nice. So this, I'm gonna just try to yank out. Do have the pitaya. Oh, look at that. The dragon fruit is kind of all over. There's 1, 2, 3, and you can see it's all up in here. So it's come through this pie de Madeira, which is kind of a shade for the pots down there. Helps out with the summertime heat. They won't dry out too much. Those are in terracotta pots, so they do dry up quick. Or actually no, the plastic pots with terracotta covering the south side, which helps out with the heat and dehydration. This is the lamb house from above. It looks really nice. And you can see it's kind of looks like a jungle in here. A lot of work. So I'm going to try to squeeze through here. Rosemary's definitely come out quite a bit. And this always just gets cut anyway, so I can break myself off a few to get through. And that is the Thompson grape, which is all over the place. So these are some big canes. They should have been cut while I was gone, but they didn't. And of course things are falling down and not taken care of. This is a plumeria, and it fell over because, of course, I can get it up there. Most likely because of this, and some of the canes in here might have knocked it over, but it's still doing well. Has a flower. These are the ones that smell really nice. Looks like the papaya were hopefully eaten. We do have some flowers, and it looks really healthy. And this is the little cotto, the worts. So really beautiful leaves when they come out new. Nice red color. And this looks really nice, especially with getting some of the shade here during the summer. Keeps it nice and moist, is what they really want. They want to be constantly wet, but not underwater. And let's see if we got any on here, because I did leave quite a few. They do hide. Hopefully some of them stayed, but I don't see any. I'll have to get back to you guys on this one, or get back to myself, because these videos are for me. And I don't see any in here, which is unfortunate. But we'll check it out later. That is a lot of new growth in there. Oh yeah, man, that's a lot of work. These are probably 20 foot long on some of these. And finally, look at that. Got itself all hung up on it. Uh-oh. I gotta cut them anyway. The crepe myrtle actually looks really nice, and you can see it flowered out. So, cutting back this again. the Pride of Madeira, coming back all this, we'll get more sunlight on here, is what I want. I want this to be bigger than anything else. Let's go around here. Yeah, a lot of work. So this little area is pretty much always the same. But the Fuji apple, which was planted, I believe, a year ago, put in the ground in the fall, is actually looking nice. No fruit on it this year. I don't know if they got eaten or it didn't really fruit out, but it definitely looks happy in here. There are some flowers, a little bit late in the season, and the jasmine from up here. This actually looks healthy because I did put that sticky material to keep the ants off. I believe it's Tanglefoot on the base over there. The ants really get in here and bring the bugs, which hurts the plant. This is the Tahitian pomelo, but look at the size of these guys. There's one over there that's double this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is just about right for this plant. Let me go around. Yeah, get back to that. Looks like there's more. So look at the size of this one. That's a nice size. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 9 of them. And I see a lot of fungus gnats, or no. What are these guys? Fruit flies maybe? So something might have fallen. Night blooming jasmine. I'm gonna get rid of these this year. It's just too much. And we got the peaches. So the August Pride. Yeah, we know what it is. It's in the pot, needs to be planted or sold. My producing peach is always good. So, looks good, nothing to be worried about. Of course, grapes way over to here. But what I'm happy about, besides having my Texas privet just really filled in, is that cherimoya finally have some form on it. So we got a good vertical branch in there. I had topped it right there, and these are coming out. So good structure, good color, and this should produce next year. The apricot looks really healthy. I'm gonna have to take some of these guys out again, putting some shade down. But of course, good form. I'll have to cut them out of my pathway. Let's see over here. Don't know how many fruit are on here. I'll have to find out, but definitely getting good form. I'll trim this back as well a bit, not too much. I'll do that more in the spring if I'm here early enough. And through here, this is a star jasmine coming out of that pot, and there's quite a bit over here too. There's the other one. So it looks nice, but as you can see, this tree needs to be trimmed, putting out a lot of shade. Limes, yeah, and there's quite a few on here. Let's see. This looks good. So one thing this year looks like I had an issue. The Cape Plumalgo, no, this is not Cape Plumalgo, Cape Honeysuckle, didn't really do much, even though it has irrigation, and I planted another one here and it's completely gone. No idea what happened. Completely gone. So I'm gonna have to buy one this year and put another one in here to hopefully get that going up. Not looking too bad. Always dry this time of year. And compost was not taken care of, but there's some goodness down there. Not bad. Usable. So the blackberries, usually this time of year there's some on the vine still. I did see some on some of the other ones, but looks like they were not taken care of again. These should all be cut to about 3 feet, 1 meter. Every time they grow, don't let them get bigger than a meter tall to get them to branch out. But you can see this. These were abandoned. Pretty sad. They should be eaten. The birds don't really eat them as much as you would think, but these weren't even eaten. They were just left. So coming back over here, you can see everywhere. I'm over it. And wild cherries. I think I saw a strawberry over here. See how it tastes? Not bad. This is the Daily 11. So you can see it looks like a Guatemala type with the red leaves. The host plant, every time I trim it back, it's putting more and more back out. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. This was definitely the worst branch to put this on. It's never going to do much. I may just use these as grafting material and then eliminate this one altogether. But you can come over here and see some more wasted blackberries. These may have gotten eaten because they're off, or they just fell off. But here's the nice ones. This is the avocado, known as reed. Really came up tall on this one over here. It had branched out, let's see. So that is the main branch. There are a couple little side branches coming out. So this is going to be the leader. You can see, yeah, sad. It's come out over here and nice and thick. So we'll see what it does this year, flower wise. There's another one back here, kind of hidden. You can see it right there. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. It's pretty hidden. So once I pull all these out to give them individual care, we'll be able to sort everything and see how they look. You can see, look at these. I mean, that's at least 8 feet. There's another one over here. That's too long. That's probably 6 feet. They should have been cut. All these should have been cut. Oh, there's my cord. More of the castor bean. So they're coming up in the pots with the compost. Not good at all. So I need to get rid of them completely. This is a nice one here. Another reed that I grafted. See the graft down there? And it's nice. Nice and wide. Looks good. Figs. They're done this time of year anyway, so no figs. All of the blueberries look decent. This time of year they start to change leaves, the color wise, and you're not going to see fruit. These are spring and summer fruits, but they're all alive, so that's nice. This is new growth in here. That looks really good. So that's in a big pot, but look at this. There was a castor plant in here, and look at the size of that. So that's why I don't want these anymore. They're very invasive, and once it gets into the pot, if you don't pull them out quick enough, it does a lot of damage in there root wise. It really takes over. These are aggressive rooters and aggressive growers, so I'll wind up cutting this as much as I can, but I can't pull it out anymore. It'll damage these roots. Chocolate sprinkle. This is the white mulberry. Good shape. So if I can put this in the ground, it'll be a big tree. Fig. I ate a strawberry from that one. It was really good. That is the camote, sweet potato. So there's some big ones somewhere down there. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Comes right off. Wow. That is absolutely delicious. Man, I love these guys. Yeah, looks like these didn't get eaten. And now, to the back. What do they call it? The back 40? The back 10? The backyard. Wow. So what the issue was this year is that we had a failed timer. Luckily, of all the 4 stations or 4 areas I have under irrigation, it was the one that was the least damaging as far as plants that I really wanted to have. As you can see, these were the peach stalks, and they're dead, most likely. But I never really wanted them anyways, so it's good to, they kind of self-regulated. And wait, real quick. This is the reed back here. So it looks really nice. Way too much growth on these Primark Freedom blackberries. All this has to be trimmed out, but these should have been trimmed back during the growing season to produce more fruiting spurs or more fruiting branches. Back over here. So what I was really worried about was this guy. This was the avocado that's probably 5 years old now that had done a lot of grafting. 2 of them I thought stuck, but it looks like they died out. So there's 1, 2. I had to put another one there that's dead. But this is the surprise back here that was doing really well. It's still alive, which is good. But this is a main branch now off the original growth. Yeah, you can see the joint right there. There's the graft, so it's not from the graft. So it's still alive. This did not get water for probably at least a month during the hottest part of the season in a container. Still alive, so you know they're pretty hardy, but they're not happy if you're going to try to get grafts going or fruit. So this whole area back here was not irrigated. There was strawberries here. They're crispified. A few things in there which more just placeholders, don't care. This guy over here. So all this was not watered. These guys are very drought tolerant. The Texas privet. So in a small container, root bound, no water for a month, month and a half. Still alive. You can see all the tips are burned. The pitaya here, dragon fruit, these are cactuses, so they will survive droughts and non-watering, but you see how thin they are. And these are like paper thin. And you can look down here, they look shriveled up, yellowed. We actually do have a flower right here, which is amazing. It's probably trying to put out a flower. Oh, there goes my cord again. Trying to put out a flower just to survive. But these guys were not watered for quite a bit too, but they're not going to die. They just won't produce. This is a berry that's dead, which I kind of did want anyways. Good to be gone. There was nothing over here I was too worried about except for my 2 apples, which they look like they're still alive. So this is a pink lady. Still green, but not too happy. I did give them water yesterday. I got here yesterday afternoon and I soaked them pretty well. But this is still what they were when I got here. This is the Anna apple. You can see a lot of crispiness. Here's the tip. Probably still alive. You can see in here, still some green. I see a green leaf right there. And you see them popping out here and even down here. So it's trying to come back and what it was doing is that as it's dry and dry and dry, not getting water, it kind of takes it from the tips and lets them dry out and tries to preserve as much moisture down towards the base. And if they do get water, which obviously they're getting water now, they're going to come back from the base to kind of stay alive. But this one isn't going to die, which is nice. You can see there was an apple there, just shriveled up, and had really nice form. So I was worried about this, but it's okay. There's still tons of green. The only thing that did look pretty bad, well, this is a passion fruit. These guys are weeds too. They'll grow in a crack of a sidewalk or a highway and still be alive. One of my original blackberries here is super crispified. And you can see there's the dried up blackberries, but yeah, that's dead. It may come back from the base because these roots, depending if the roots are still alive, but that's pretty bad. You can see they're coming up over here though. So the ones that are in the ground are still looking really nice. It's just pretty amazing. I mean, no water. This one actually doesn't get water at all and is doing really well. But it's in clay. The soil down here, even though it's dry, it maintains a lot of moisture deep. So if the roots have gotten deep, it's still going to be alive. And it's in the ground, so it's pretty good. The bougainvillea, I cut it back a lot last year, and it's not too overgrown, but I have to recut my path. And as you can see back here, this is the issue with my castor beans. So there's a big one here, and the main one is back over here. You can see these seeds, they're everywhere. So I can just see them. I mean, there's hundreds of them. All these green things, no water, and they're happy as could be. Although it did storm maybe a week or two ago. Had a summer storm, so this is probably why they're up, which is actually good because I can get rid of them, but you can see them all. I mean, it looks like grass almost. There's so many. This is the main one. This is going to be cut down this year. You see them all everywhere. Look at those tall ones. So these are good chop and drop, but once they start to seed, they're just not good. The little mound over here with the kale looks really good. No water, stays green. Pretty amazing. I mean, these ones over here are actually edible. They look good. I'll probably eat some of these. No powdery mildew. And that's going to be it. So back around to the plum. Let's climb over here. Now it's back to work, and we'll see how it looks when I'm done. It's been about 10 days, and although I have not been filming as much as I want, I am doing some good work. That scale all over the star jasmine, and you can see it's been in the shade. It's completely covered in scale. So I did fix that right there. And this jasmine has been here for a long time. Small little guy, climbs up, circles around, and he was gonna fill in up here. You can see some of it. But I did trim it back quite a bit because I think it's a better idea to get this apricot to come under. And I'm gonna have an apricot little canopy right here and see how much I can get over to there without having too much in my way here. You can see walking. Eventually, there it is. So same with here. I need to try to get this to go up and over. Make a little tunnel here, and we'll try to trellis it over here. That's another one. So we'll start to get them low and then have them come up, and we'll have apricots hanging down. And the Annona Cherimoya. This does look very nice. When unexpected failures happen, it's time to upgrade the system. So with the timer going bad on me, I went ahead and went to a single system. This is the same model as I have on the other side that's been doing well for the past year. Dual output, all digital. We have it set every 3 days for about 10 minutes on each zone. And I got double paper here. Got some leftover paper. One from there and then two over there. So this should keep the water off of it and help it also with the sun. And on this one, which is the same model, but I have it in a plastic bag cut here so I can ziplock it. So same thing, dual output, the Divu, and this one seems to be working well. No issues. I have an extra one there set up for the cuidador that comes by, and there's batteries and even a single timer in there. So everything's all set if there's an emergency, and if this one just goes straight in. One of the casualties here was one of the original Primark Freedoms I bought, I think back in 2018 or 19. And you can see pretty massive in there. I don't know if it's any life left, so I have it on a irrigation, but look at that. And this is the one where the root came up a couple years back, so that's a good 3 feet from the host plant, and this is just growing in the native soil, but very nice and healthy. Already getting new growth with flowers. So
when the water comes from the rain, comes out here, this always stays wet, or at least is the last to dry out. So that's going to be really happy. And I'm tip layering into here. There's the actual tip. So we'll get another plant next year. And the boysenberry made it. It's still alive. What I did notice today, this is the Anna apple, and it's faded out, but that is a pink lady that I grafted 2 years ago, I think, maybe a year ago. And look at that. With that little forced drought of no irrigation, it's going to make it come out. So grafts need their time. So I got a pink lady and a Anna. Pink lady's right here. It is that time. Let's see. Loose both ways. Gives a little bit. Yeah, I think it's ready. See if it twists. If not, I have to cut it. I should have cut it. But it came off. Nice. Good size. Okay, so I already cut it open and did a reveal live with someone special. But let's see what it looks like. The last one was red. That was a physical graffiti. This one is from a friend. I don't have the name. He gave me yellow and a red. And this is the red, obviously. But inside, already ate some of it. There's the flesh. This one, not as sweet. The other one was more red inside. It was super sweet. This one has a really nice texture, very juicy, just not too sweet. So I don't know if I picked it a little bit early. Could have gone another week, or that's just how it is. So we'll figure it out in the future. Okay, it is October 24th, Friday, and I'm leaving tomorrow. And I've got a lot of work done this past 2 weeks. As you can see, everything looks really nice and green. This was just a kind of a pre-cut for the Santa Rosa plum. I'll be able to get to all this in the spring. It lays dormant at least till March and April. It really starts to flower in probably late March, so I have plenty of time. But bumper crop on the pears here, and it's starting to turn color, which is really cool. That's a really nice leaf. Has some oranges, yellows. I like that. So this thing's gonna stay in this pot one more year, possibly up a pot next year, or even in the ground, because it seems to like this area. Took out a from seed avocado. It's down below. It's gonna get grafted. Not the right time of year, but we'll see if it works. Night blooming jasmine is under control. And this is the surprise. So a lot more tip pruning and actually cutting too. There's a decent cut right there. I put a little white paint on it. I want to keep it separated from the orange here. And hopefully this year, there's quite a bit of canopy. These two kind of came up really thick. Hopefully we'll get some flowers this spring and see some fruit. Good mulch. Oranges, man, just out of control. Where they are, there they are. All over. So a lot of production means small oranges, but they're still good. Just starting to get some good, decent color. And even brought these limbs down. You see this right here, really hanging, so I painted it a little bit. There was a pitaya dragon fruit here. It's down on the other side. That's the Chinese spinach. And of course, the lamb haas. Man, these are like decent sized haas right now, and they still have another 6 to 8 months to go. So they should be ready in anywhere from March till July, somewhere around there. 2 more in here, and then there's 1 hidden in there. It's got 5 lamb haas. Made my little path right here. So this was the pitaya I just harvested, was right there. And it was not as good as the one down below, which is a different variety, but still really cool fruit. So the Wirtz avocado, same thing. Did a pretty major trim over here and some tip pruning. I want to keep it out, or let's see, I want to keep it from getting too much into the papaya, but this guy's going to go up, so it'll clear pretty soon. No fruit this year, but looks really nice, and hopefully with a big flower set we'll get a few. That's got a little bit more space to deal with here. And of course, the Fuji apple. Oh man, that is really green still. Looks like full summer. Yeah. A little bit clearer in here, so what I'm doing is doing some bending in here to keep it out of the path. This one's kind of straight up, but this one's going to go horizontal too. And this should be all over the floor or on the ground when I get back in March or April. These pomelos, but they last forever, so they can sit on the ground for months and nothing gets in them. Big guys. Peaches, just gonna start to lose their leaves. The cherry moya looks really nice. I did a couple little tip prunes, not too much. I'll do more of that in the spring. And of course the favorite apricot is going to get its pruning in the spring. I did a couple little thin outs in here, but not too much. It was really busy in here. I took a lot of these guys out. Nice and clear. Much clearer in here. There's a big wall of night blooming jasmine and the Texas privet, which are Texas privet got planted. Sold one of the jasmines, and of course the little lime that always produces is nice and happy. So here are the privets that I planted. You can see there's 1, 2, 3 plus the honeysuckle, Cape honeysuckle in the corner. So hopefully this will fill in decently over the next couple years, give me privacy where I don't have to have this tree throwing as much privacy because it puts out too much shade too. But definitely gives me a lot of material to work with. These guys looking pretty decent for end of summer. Of course the bamboo always looks a little sad. It is what it is. And compost should be a little bit more matured over the winter due to the rains, so that's going to be ready for me when I get back. And this bed of original blackberries has finally been worked over. I had these containers upon containers with roots going through, double. Those are out, transplanted, so everything looks really nice in here, and they're actively growing and flowering. I ate some of the blackberries a couple days ago, and you can see there's some right here. So these fruit year round for me, although in the summer they really do their production. So this is the surprise that made it. It was a lot bigger, but because of the irrigation failure, kind of got hit a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of grafting here. This one actually looks like something might be happening already, so hopefully these stick over the winter. Another one that's got a gem in there. We'll keep the bag on there for a little bit. The pitaya got transplanted. One from up there is down here now. It can grow up, kind of trellis itself on the icanium. And a couple baby guys right there, pitaya. Too many blackberries. This is the grafted reed from last year. Gave itself 3 little spikes, which is pretty cool. That's been transplanted. It should do well. And here are the reeds. So I'm expecting there to be some flowers next year. Did some trimming and some pinching. This one seems to be a little bit more bushier. And there's one over here that's less, a little bit taller. Leaves are starting to fall on the fig. And blackberries, no, blueberries look good. This is a night blooming jasmine that got transplanted, root pruned. More of the figs. Here is the Daily 11 that I grafted a couple years ago and kind of pulled it up a little bit. I chopped this guy pretty heavily, and there's 3 growths here. I'm gonna use these as graft points next year in the spring. And this is the reed that's taller, so it's about 7 feet tall and pruned up a little bit. Blackberries flowering. This one's escaped the pot and went into the ground. The Oro Blanco got root pruned and repotted in the same pot, but root pruned with a better mix. So I expect this one to look really good this spring. I gave it a nice little prune up. It's been treated quite a few times with some organic spray to help with the bugs. So we're hoping for the best. Over there, these are going to be dormant. Got some strawberries, always more blackberries. This area has been shut down. Got my new little footbridge. And over here, the mulberry has been moved over here. We'll trim it in the spring. The pitaya dragon fruits, some babies here. That's the Maria Rosa, which did flower. I don't think this is going to do anything, but it is a piece of fruit. And through here, none of my apples died, which I'm happy. So you can see they're still alive. Even the pink lady, which took the worst of it on the irrigation failure, but my pink lady graft from last year is taken. That's pretty cool. The passion fruit, I picked some of the guys here today, gave them away. It's all over the deck. More blackberries. And here I am proud of the work of getting rid of the castor bean plant in the trees. You can see there's still a bunch here, but these guys will be not too big in the spring. I just need to get them before they seed, and they're a good chop and drop, but they're very invasive with the seeds. So kind of nice, and got rid of my water barrel. And here is the feral leafy green area, kind of a little mound, and this gets 0 water in the summer and it's still nice and green. So I like it. Timer is timing with all the accessories. And that'll be it. So of course, I make these videos for myself, but if you do enjoy watching them or have any questions, send me a comment. San Diego in the spring is nice, but the fall is lovely. And I'll be here next spring.